Antanil Tuli and Mildanine, and thank you once again for joining me. My name is Lord Aramil, and today we will be starting a new series of podcasts called Aramil's Musings. This will be a weekly upload, just talking about random things, mainly anything nerdy that comes my way. Today I am joined by my cat Mew, who is currently asleep on my lap. So I'm going to try to not wake her up too much. That'll just keep everybody interested and on the alert now that they know that there's a cat involved. Yes, so today we'll be talking mainly about DAG, or Dagger hair, as it's known, because that's my favorite sport, and honestly, I miss doing it a lot with all of my friends. Dr. Pepper. Now, what is Dagger hair? Very quickly, we'll get through that. Maybe I'll tell a couple of my favorite DAG stories. That's kind of going to be one of the main topics of all these podcasts. It's just DAG stories. Next week or the week after, I'm hoping to get my brother in on this, and he'll talk about the bar that he sets up every year for Ragnarok, called the Rickety Stool. And at the Rickety Stool, there are a certain number of drinks, which can be expected to be found. You good, baby? Alright. So we'll talk about some of the more interesting drinks that he has. So it's going to be, it'll be interesting. We'll probably each have a drink, and we'll just have half an hour of just chatting as Aramil gets progressively less coherent, because I'm not good with alcohol. You are falling off of my lap, darling. Yeah, that's fine. She's fine with this. Steins are great, by the way. Love it. I got that at an SEA event a long time ago. I don't know. You baby. I've been using it ever since. So what is Dagger hair? Dagger hair is a full contact medieval fantasy inspired combat LARP. LARP being live action roleplay. If this was done in editing, I'd have big old bold letters. LARP. Oh well. Doing it live, kind of odd, but hey, that's fun, right? Right. So, DAG is not quite what you would normally think of for LARPs. Cue the clip of that guy running through the woods yelling, "Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt!" No. There's no hit points. There's no spells. There's no cat clawing my hand. It's just purely you have stick, you try to hit opponent with stick, the person who is better at hitting the other person with stick wins. It's pretty much what it boils down to. It's a game of skill over number crunching or working the meta, as it were. So, for me, that's what really draws me in. Because I play a lot of D&D, so I get my fill of munchkinning and numbers and doing all that stuff. But DAG isn't that. DAG is just grab a sword, grab a shield, go out and hit people. And it's very simple in that regard. I've been able to teach people how to do DAG in like 5 minutes, and there you go. Go forth. Fight. You're gonna die a lot, but it's because you're brand new. it's not much to say on that. I've been doing DAG for about 10.5 years. Yeah, yeah, I have. So it's a really integral part of who I am anymore. I'm wearing a Dagger Hair Ragnarok t-shirt because on a year that hadn't decided to be all of our apocalypses uh, back to back, I'd be getting ready to go to Ragnarok. Uh, Probably in the next week, actually. And that's one more reason why I'm doing this, is just to talk about DAG stuff because I can't do DAG stuff. If you could not claw my hand, I'd appreciate it. Okay. She's upset because I'm waking her up. Oh well. Do not rabbit kick, spicy kitten. So, Ragnarok is a week-long event. Uh, just out in a campground, camping with your local group, uh, just fighting, feasting, drinking, partying, having an amazing time. Honestly, I spend all the year, like, I leave Ragnarok, and then I start preparing for the next Ragnarok. Uh, and I'm really sad that I can't do that this year, but that just means that next year is going to be even better. Fuck yeah. Uh, so another thing that we'll be doing when my brother Rickett joins me is we'll be talking about uh, the new rickety stool, because up until now we've just had a bunch of like pop-up pavilions, those 10 by 10s you might get from Walmart, and we just lash a few of them together and set up a bar, like a literal bar, uh, and he'd, you know, pour drinks from that, and all is good. But now we're hoping to set up like a legitimate, not structure, but like wooden poles and, you know, an actual building esque, a kind of a mini pavilion. Uh, and just some of the stuff that he's mathed out and priced out for. It's really cool stuff. Fairy lights and just the kinds of things that really help to take it from just, you know, a shanty town to kind of a, not a medieval vibe, because of course we can't just set up walls, but still a bit more into that vibe. And that's really what DAG is about, is you dress up in a funny costume, you call each other funny names, and you have a good time. Uh, and it really, you can get whatever you're looking for out of DAG, is really what it comes down to. Like, some people really like the idea of role playing. Uh, I met a guy, it was my first rag, so this was almost like 10 years ago. I don't even know if he's still in the sport. Um, but he played like this silent assassin, alright? So whenever he was in character, the mask was on, and he didn't say anything. There were no sounds that came from him. When he had to communicate, it was either in like gestures, nodding, shaking his head, whatever. Um, or he had to completely break character at least one time to talk to me, because I had no idea what was going on. Um, and it was kind of funny too, because he broke character. He took down his mask. He put on glasses, and just his whole like posture changed. It was wicked. So like you could tell that these were almost two separate people that you were talking to. And that's really interesting to me, and could probably be dissected by a therapist or someone who does more psychological analysis, but that's one end of the spectrum. Uh, on the other end of the spectrum, there are quite a few people who, well, they do not claw me. Do not claw me for just trying to keep you from falling off my lap. But there are plenty of people who just who are called stick jocks, uh, who are there just call themselves a funny name. They wear whatever passes as garb, and they're just here to hit people, and that's fine. Like as long as you can, basically, their DAG name is more like a gamer tag to them, and they're just here for the admittedly good exercise. Oh, bye. Okay. Oh, you're mute. Say hello to all the people at home. Yeah. She's not a happy kitten. Oh, go forth. Go forth and conquer. Alright. So, it's stick jocks. And that's a perfectly acceptable method of playing Dagger here. I mean, it's good. Now, and a lot of people feel somewhere in the middle. Uh, I tend more towards the roleplay side, which is why I've got a character and somewhat of a backstory, and I like to wax poetically in Elven or sing in Elven or what have you, and that's good. That's fine, and then I take the field and I hit people with sticks, and it doesn't bother me if my team has Urukai on them, on it. I has them on my team, whatever. Words. Things that I would cut out if this wasn't a live stream. But yeah, like, my elven, me being an elf, does not detract from the tactical advantage of having a bunch of Urukai or Romans or whatever on my team. As a matter of fact, I try to be friends with quite a few of the Urukai. They're pretty cool people. And those are more stories, which will be told, if not in this episode, then the next or the next or the next, ad infinitum. Basically, as long as there are people who, like this video, say something in the comments, I'll keep doing these streams. Just leave a like, say something, say hi, and that's really it. It's the streams are and these podcast bits. They'll get better too, of course, with time. Just like the Minecraft videos, which haven't been coming out. I know it's been almost half a year since I put out a Minecraft video. I've got two that are like halfway through editing. Just with COVID-19 and everything that's been going on since then. Everything fell by the wayside. I even recorded like 3 or 4 episodes worth of a new series before just deciding that, oh no, this is trash. I could just throw it all out. Well, I didn't throw it out, but I basically stopped playing, which is bad enough. So it's everything is a work in progress. I'm probably not going to do any other games, mainly because my computer cannot handle it at this time. I'll be lucky if this comes out coherent enough for people to watch and just enjoy in some regard. So let's see. Live chat should be open. I've got a couple viewers, so I'm happy with that. Yeah. In addition to DAG, these podcasts will talk about just random nerdy stuff that I may or may not be totally obsessed about. Talk about D&D. Cause hell yeah. Cause I'm running 2 campaigns right now, and I've got a 3rd campaign that I'm going to be part of here shortly, which is great. It's amazing. I've been a DM for so long. I've missed being a player, let me tell you. So that's nice. That's really nice. Just to make a character again for me to play, and not just some NPC in the background either. I get to actually play a character more than once. Sign me up. So that's nice. It gave me a good reason to go through, I'm gonna say 20 books and counting to make a 3rd level character. Back to that min-maxing bit we talked about a minute ago. Now, most of my D&D knowledge, and therefore most of my stories, will be about 3.5. And I know that'll just turn some people off right now. But I do have some stories from 5th edition. I have some stories from before 3.5. Yeah. So, don't worry, there'll be a lot of just miscellaneous kind of nerd gaming shit. And it'll be fun. We'll talk about this, that, the other. Maybe I'll talk about Kerbal Space Program, which I've kind of been binging just a little bit. I recently got a friend of mine, Akshanra, into space engineers. So I might talk about that, but KSP and Space Engineers are games that my laptop can barely handle just normally. So streaming those will be a project for the future. Like, when I get a nicer laptop or a desktop or something that can just handle that. Because unfortunately, for KSP at least, my answer to a lot of things is stick more rockets on it, which kind of works, but it makes it run very slowly as is, so issues. It's very ad hoc. The whole Kerbal Space Program is difficult enough. And then you get me, who is not mathematically or I'm not an engineer, nor a mathematician. I'm definitely not a space aeronautics guy. I dig in the ground and find bits of, like, pottery, and that's cool to me. But I also like sending Jebediah Kerman into space, screaming at Mach 3. So, you know. I might talk about it, but it probably won't make an appearance on this channel for a while. And I mean, if you really like watching people play Kerbal Space Program, I can suggest a couple people. I've been binging the Beardy Penguin. I'm not kidding. That's his username here on YouTube. So I binge watched his Endurance and what's the next one? Interstellar. I think Interstellar uh, playlists, and they're really good. So if you like Kerbal Space Program, head over there because he actually knows what he's doing. He's going to university because he's British to be a space aeronautics engineer. So he actually knows what all those fancy terms mean and calculates out his rocket's delta V and acceleration and weight and doesn't just slap on more rockets to just make things go fast. Kind of an orcish thing, that, really, now that I think about it, just slapping more rockets on, paint it red, and watch it go. Oh well, I'll live with myself. I was hoping the live chat would be a bit more... Oh well. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, a lot of this first stream also is to test out the different analytics settings and whatnot. Let's see. We're doing alright at least, so that's surprising. We've got a bit rate that's higher, but I'll live with that. And for some reason, our video resolution is suboptimal. Oh well. I'll figure it all out, either this stream, the next stream, or somewhere after that. As long as it, gets through alright. It's really what I'm hoping for. And for those of you who are looking at the clock and like, when is this idiot gonna stop blabbering on? We'll end it about half-hour mark, so another 6 minutes or so. This is just... I'm gonna try to keep it to about half-hour each time. That way it's not so much that people are hesitant to watch it afterwards, but at the same time, it's something. I can actually get through a few stories or what have you, and I can do something stupid, talk about something interesting, the usual. Let's see. For this series, I will try to avoid talking about Minecraft or anthropology. I'm going to try and keep all of that separate, but it's going to be... I'm sure some bits will filter in and out. That's just how life works. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep it mainly into DAG and D&D and kind of those similar veins. If I'm playing in some other odd campaign that's an RPG, yeah, I'll bring that in. Or if I've been binging this game or that series, I might talk about that. Is this as much an audio log of just kind of what's going on for me as much as it is just to, get out there, talk with people, or talk at people, I guess, more, which is something that I'm trying to get better at. So yeah, this is at least as much for me as it is for all of you, hopefully who are watching and or who will be watching in the future. Oh, now we've got 3-4 minutes left in our stream today. So let's try and find something fun. So, I'm going to posit a question to you all. What was your favorite D&D character that you ever played? Now, for me, my favorite D&D character might surprise a few of you. It was a dwarven cleric, Veit Dorak Agrul, or Hardstone. And I played him kind of as he was supposed to be a one-off, just something weird and off the wall, for me at least. Just random, just, oh yeah, sure, whatever, I'll play a dwarf, why not? Well, that one-off adventure escalated into a 6-year-long campaign, as me and a surprising roster of friends just continued to explore this dungeon that my dad basically dusted off. Just like, oh, while I'm preparing the real campaign, you guys can explore in here. And then we never got back to the real campaign because the dungeon was that cool. So, yeah, I really bonded with Fight. It's a very important character for me because I played him that whole 6 years. And, boy, I guess back in, like, AD&D days, they were really stingy with XP because Vite only got to, like, I think he just got to 7th level by the time we ended. We got, like, a level a year. Which, for all intents and purposes, was probably a good thing because uh, the dungeon really wasn't made for high-level characters. It was really more of, goblins, orcs, bugbears, gnolls, kind of first through third to fourth level, kind of, that kind of range of character. Uh, though I do remember there were quite a few, like, traps and doors which would have been really dangerous, if not downright deadly, to a party of first level characters. And I will talk about the dungeon quite a few times in this series. But, yeah, so one of my favorite characters was actually a dwarf. Go figure. And that's why I seem to have just this. I've translated that over into DAG by saying that Aramil is 1/16th dwarf on my father's side. It's a family secret. And you can tell because of my magnificent beard, which was a far funnier joke back when I first started telling it, because I was this clean-shaven baby face, because up until, like, my mid-20s, I couldn't grow any facial hair at all. So, even now, a lot of my friends, my brother especially, who has a actual beard, will look at that and be like, what beard? But, with that, yeah, say down in the comments, what was your favorite D&D character, either that you played, or maybe even one that, if you were running a campaign, which one of the players' character was your favorite, or maybe a really cool story about one of your characters. But, until next time, thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and we will be doing these hopefully every Saturday at noon for about half an hour each. And leave a like, leave a comment. And until we meet again, dear friends, farewell.